So now I'm going to download VirtualBox or Windows. So I'll Google it first. So the first search you are seeing, that is the official page for the VirtualBox, which is Oracle VirtualBox. So this is how the page looks like. So it support all the three major OS: Windows, Mac, and Linux. So I'm going to the downloads page, and since I'm running it in Windows, I'll use Windows host here. So it will come to the downloads. So I'm not going to download it now. So because I'm already having VirtualBox installed. So I'll install this and show you how is the interface. So let's search Oracle VMware, and so this is how the VirtualBox GUI looks like. Settings like preference, import, new, add are available. Now let's see the guest source. What I'm going to run is Kali Linux. So I'll search that on net on Google, and it will show me the Kali Linux official page. Now I'm going to click on it, and I can see this is the page for Kali Linux, and I'm doing download. So you can see various number of platforms here to download, like bare metal, VirtualBox. You can see here ARM, mobile, cloud, like that. So now I'm going to choose bare metal instead of virtual machines because one advantage in VirtualBox is that it can run both the pre-built images and the raw images also, raw disk images. So raw disk image is better. So I'm going to the bare metal section and give the installers option. So now it will take to the downloads page, and you can see it is ISO file, which is a raw file. So I have it already, but it is the older version, not much older. It's quite it was 2020, and what is in the website is, you can see here, it is 2021.2. So I am not on that much big old, I mean that old version. So now I'll show how to install Kali Linux in VirtualBox. So if you give new, you will get a tab like this. So type the name of the OS here. So it will automatically detect the OS, and it will give the type and version. So in version you can give Debian or whatever you need, but I'll go with the default. So it is Linux 64-bit, and I'll give next. Next it is asking for the RAM memory. So how much RAM to allocate to this VirtualBox? So I'll give it around 2000 and 2000 MB ago, 2500 MB ago. And now I'll give next, and it's asking for a hard disk type. So we are going to create a virtual hard disk now. So that is been defaultly selected, and we'll give create. And now it is asking for the type. So for us it is disk image type. So I'll go with the default one, which is VDI, and I'll give next. Now it'll ask to whether it can dynamically allocate memory or a fixed size. I'll give dynamic so that I can assign memory. So now it will ask for the location and size. I'll give around 16 GB, and I'll give create. So once I click create, you can see the page will be refreshed, and what all the instruction given will be displayed here. So to view it in a detail, I'll go to settings. Same thing will be displayed, but in a detail here. So you can see the OS I have given here, and in the advanced tab you can see an option called shared clipboard and drag and drop. That I'll give bi-directional. So I'll tell that why in the last part. And description, this are nothing, no need to do anything with this. And in the system section, base memory has been allocated for initially. Now the boot order, this matters if you are using any pen drive or something like that. So I'll give only optical and hard disk here, because optical and network here, because I'm not going to use floppies or optical disk anymore. So, and I'll also enable EFI. So in some OS in boot time there will be need a EFI, which is the extended firmware interface will be needed. So I'll enable it. I don't know whether this OS is EFI, but I'll, for safety purpose, I will enable it. And coming to the processor, I will just allocate two processors for this virtual box. And acceleration, I'll go with the default. And display, you can see the video memory is bit low, so I'll keep it in middle somewhere around 64 or 72. I'll go with 64, so that's okay. And remote display, this is having option to remotely display your image. I no need that. Recording also, as of now I no need. So I'll go to the storage tab. This is the main part here. You can see the controllers empty here. So give the disk icon here and choose the disk image which you have downloaded. So I've already added Kali link, so it is showing. But if you're newly adding, it won't show like that. So I'm adding Kali next. So you can see this is these are the available virtual optical disk files. So my our thing is raw file. So you can see the details here. It is 4.1 GB equation. And I'm going to audio section. Since I'm running it in a virtual machine, I think I no need the audio, so I'm disabling it, because audio will come from the host PC. So I think I no need that. In network, you can see there are four adapters you can choose, but normally we are running it in a virtual box, so I think we no need this. So you can see MAC address. We can define MAC address here. I'll show how to see MAC address in the guest OS later. So this is the networks tab. So I'll go with the default. I'm not going to change here. Serial ports, that's not needed. So in USB section, you can see nothing's there, only 1.1 is there. But you can use the virtual machine as sandbox also. So if you click the plus button here, you can see the USB storage. As of now, I am not inserting any USB, so it's not storing. So if you add that, you can test your pen drive there, whether it's having virus or something like that. You can test, so it won't affect your main host PC. So what are the uh, specifications that will be given here? It will be changed, and I'm giving start. It will start running. Initially, the first time when you run, it will install the OS completely. So it's asking whether this is the correct startup disk, so I'll give start. Yes, this is the correct one. And first time it will run, it will install fully, but again when you install, it won't come for the initial this page. It will just automatically run. Here you can see graphical install, install advanced options. So in graphical install, GUI will be better. So I have already done it, so I'll give then only install. Let's see how it is. So I think the GU will be not available here. Yeah, the GUI is not available here. It is like the BIOS window. So language it is asking, I give English. I'll go with the default here. And country, I'll give India. And next it is asking for the keyboard type, configure the keyboard. I'll go with the default. It will load, it will save our preferences, and next it will ask for the network types, about networking. So let's see. So this process will take time, but to completely install it will take 30 to 40 minutes, so depending upon your host PC. Whether it is a high-end thing, it will consume less time, but for me it's not like that. So this taking time, it will take more time. So let's wait for a while. So now it will ask for the host name. So defaultly here it is given Kali, so I'm also going with this default. I'm not going to change here. Let the host name be Kali and I'll give continue. Just enter. Domain name, I think it's not needed here. So domain name, I'll skip this. I'll just give continue. It's optional thing, domain name. So user's name, you can set it. So I'll go with my name Ambarish. So I'll type that and I'll continue. And next it will ask for the username, so that also I'll give Ambarish. And password, so I'll give the password, 4-digit password something. Okay, and I'll give continue. Next it will ask for the re-entry password. I'll also give that same password and give continue. So now it will ask for the, it will come to the partition disk partitions. So it will ask like it lasts like whether you are going to manually partition or if the entire disk is same. So I go the entire disk, use the entire big, because I'm running it in a virtual machine. I'm not going to store much there, so I'm just going to work with it. So I'll go with use entire disk, and it's asking to select the disk here. Okay, and the partitioning scheme like use a separate or home partition, that's not needed as of now because we are using it in a virtual machine. So I'll go with one partition, every file will be in the same area, and this is how it is allocated. So you can see here 1 GB free, 1 MB free space. Swap is the uh, other free space, and extend is the where OS and base system will be stored. So I'll show you that later. And this as written, this is ESP ext4 and swap will be allocated. So it is asking, okay, I'll give next, yes, it will write the changes to the disk. um, this will take time, so now this is installing the base system. So let's wait. Actually I have skipped this, I have cut short on this part, but initially it will take 30 to 40 minutes completely. So now it is asking whether to install all the tools here. No, I'll go with the default one. I'm not going to install all the tools necessary, only the sufficient tools I'm going to install. So I'll go with the default, and now we install the whole base system with the tools and other specifications. So this will take time. uh, this process took around 30 to 40 minutes in my PC, but it will differ between PCs, so that's not an issue. So let's wait until it's completed. So now you can see it is completed, and I am giving continue to install. So once you give continue, whether if you are double booting it, it will restart again. So since it is a virtual box, it is not restarting, it's continuing. So this is how the page looks. Whenever you start again, it won't ask for install from the first. This is how it will start. This is called as the grub router. So if you are double booting or using two or three OS in a system, so it will ask for which system to go with. So that is the booter. So that booter is named as grub for Kali Linux. So I go with the Kali here because it is a virtual system. It has only Kali, but if you are double booting it, it will show Kali Windows like that. So your Linux is being it's open. So we have come to the login page. So I'll type the username and the password, and you can see this is how the interface looks like for Kali Linux. So this is how it looks like. So you can go to the homes and you can check how the spaces have been allocated. You can see 5 GB has a free space. So sound in GB 5 GB is free. So I'll go to the properties here and you can see here. So it is aroundly 14.7 has been files, and the other rest is the base system that won't be the usage thing. So totally 16, 14 has been usable. You can see that. I'll close here and I'll go to the terminal and show you the IP. So IP, while running it, the virtual machine IP will be defaultly set as 10.0.2 something. So I'll show you that. You can see here it is defaultly set to 10.0.2.15 and not connected to internet now, but it is showing that. So virtual machine defaultly has this, and you can see the ethernet which has been in the starting, which I showed. You can see the same thing here. It is also editable, the MAC address. So now I will show how why I gave the bidirectional thing in drag and drop. So you can see this is my host and this is my guest PC. So I am copying a text file here. You can see it has been moved without any interference. So that's why I gave bidirectional. I'll delete it. So that's why it will be useful for some users to keep it bidirectional. So now we are good to go. You can use Kali Linux in your VirtualBox without any interference. Sometimes, according to your configuration, how much processor you set there and the base memory, the video memory, the speed of the guest host may alter. So set accordingly, set according to your usage. So thank you.